Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're in the kitchen again today because we are going to be making a frosting that is near and dear to my heart. It is a frosting that has kind of a caramelly taste, but it also kind of tastes like a marshmallow. So think caramel marshmallows. This is what I call a rain cloud icing. Okay, it's similar to the white cloud icing that I did before, but this one is a little bit richer in flavor because I'm going to use brown sugar instead of white sugar. So let's get started. The first ingredient you need is 3/4 of a cup of white corn syrup. It does need to be white corn syrup. Dark corn syrup is too dark and will make your icing really, really dark, and you don't want that. So put your 3/4 of a cup of your lily white, is what we call it here, lily white corn syrup. Put that in a small saucepan and turn that on to medium heat. You're going to let that come to a boil. Now, while that you're waiting for that to come to a boil, you might want to get someone to watch it for you, but while you're waiting for that to come to a boil, we'll prepare the rest of the ingredients. All right, so we are back over here at our mixer today because we have to mix the rest of the ingredients in here and then we will add the corn syrup after. So we want to start with just a few basic ingredients. Now, before anybody asks, I will post a link to the Bosch compact kitchen machine. I'm using the 400-watt version because people keep asking me what mixer I'm using. That's what mixer I'm using, okay? The Bosch compact 400-watt kitchen machine. I'll put a link just so that everybody has it because that's what I'm using. It's a good mixer. I do love it. And I know people keep getting curious, so that's what that is. Anyway, to keep going, we are going to add ingredients and whip them up. So what we want to do in a small but deep bowl, so this is a small but deep bowl for our mixer, we want to add egg whites, 2 egg whites, no yolks. You can save the yolks and do something with them if you like, or you can just scramble them up and feed them to your dog. Doesn't matter. So 2 egg yolks. You want a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm just using Himalayan pink salt. You can use any salt you have. You can use kosher table salt, doesn't really matter. We're going to do about 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Good enough. And then we are going to do 1/4 cup of this dark brown sugar. You want it to be fairly dark. You don't want to use the lighter stuff. Remember when you're measuring brown sugar? Tightly packed. So tightly pack that 1/4 cup and dump that in. Now we're going to whip that up around medium speed-ish, okay, until we have kind of soft-ish peaks and that sugar is totally dissolved. This could take a few minutes. Start on lower speed and then move up until you're at your highest speed. And I'll likely time-lapse this because it takes a while. Okay, about here is where you want to stop, and you just want to scrape down your sides. And I have this hump in the middle that I like to get all the sugar off of. So scrape down your sides. All mixers require you to scrape down your sides once in a while. So just scrape down your sides so that all your sugar gets in there. And then wipe off your spatula, drop it back in. Continue again at your highest speed until you have some soft peaks. So you want to stop it again, and you want to, again, just make sure all your sugars and everything are getting dissolved, because if everything's not dissolved, you're not going to get the results you want. So kind of just make sure all your sugars have been kind of captured. If anything hasn't, push it back down. There we go. And then you're going to let it go one last time. Okay? So drop it down, high speed again. Okay, so you want to just remember to do this several times. That's the reason I'm time-lapsing so much, because I don't really care. So this is not whipped enough, so we're going to whip it again. Now this, you don't have to stand here and stare at it. So let it run for about 2 or 3 minutes at a time, then come over and see if it's done. Because it's not going to be done magically. What you're looking for is kind of a semi-soft peak, not a stiff peak. If you get stiff, you've whipped way too long. So this will probably take you about 10 minutes whipping in total. I've been time-lapsing so that you don't have to sit here and watch that. But that's about how long it'll take. So we're going, probably this is the last time. Okay, when you have tracks that are staying in the icing for basically a full revolution of the beaters, and it's dissolving back into the icing, but it's not doing that immediately, that's when you're okay. You're okay to start the next part. Okay, so one more time, make sure you have all your sugars off. See, it's thicker now. That's good. You want some thickness happening, some drizzliness happening. And now we're going to go get our corn syrup. All right, this is our heated corn syrup. All right, so what we want to do here is, as it's mixing on its highest speed, you want to slowly pour a stream of this corn syrup into your mixture. And the reason we're going to be doing that is because, remember, there is raw egg white in here. And raw eggs is not really a thing we consume anymore, or we should be consuming anymore. We know that now. So we are going to basically cook those egg whites with the corn syrup. But we have to do it very, very slowly or they'll curdle, because remember, they're still raw. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to drop our beaters down, and this is going to take several minutes. So again, I'm going to time-lapse this because you don't need to stare at it. But what you're looking for is semi-stiff peaks this time. Okay, so they don't have to be perfectly stiff, but you do basically want icing. You want frosting out of this. So when it looks like frosting, you're done. So I'm going to turn it on to full speed. I'm going to pour the corn syrup into the mixture, and then I'm going to time-lapse until it's done, because it's way too long a process for you to sit here and stare at it. So high speed. So that's not bad. That's not thick enough, but you're getting somewhere when you see that. So look how long it takes to dissolve back into the frosting. So you're getting somewhere. So we're just going to beat it again. You just keep going till you've got the consistency you need. There it is. That's exactly what we want. Now, it is a warm icing. Okay, it's quite warm because we poured boiling corn syrup into it. So it is not ready to use. What you have to do at this point, scrape off your beater. And I like to scrape it off the beater. Scrape off your beater. You're going to want to put this in the fridge, or leave it on the counter if you're not going to use it right away. But that is really like a caramel marshmallow. So good. So what you want to do is put this in the fridge until it is 100% cool. When it is 100% cool, you can then proceed to use it. All right, because it is not ready to use now. It's too warm. So pop it in the fridge, probably for half an hour. Then you can get ready to use your icing in any way you like. It goes well with pretty much any type of cake, and it has kind of a little pizzazz. So if you have a cake that's kind of boring and you want to kind of jazz it up, this is a perfect frosting to use. So if you have just a basic white cake or a basic yellow cake, this is a great frosting to use because it just kind of punches it up a little bit. So that's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. I do hope you enjoyed making the rain cloud frosting with us today. I will put a link in the description to the mixer I used because I get that question a lot. But that is it for us today. Hope you had fun. I certainly did. We'll see you tomorrow.